The small town of Steytlerville, nestled between low hills and long dry stretches of thorny brushland in the eastern Cape of South Africa, is not a place where things happen quickly. Life rolls on there in slow, predictable rhythms. Church bells, dusty roads, neighborly nods. At night the wind hums through the dry grass, and the stars burn fiercely in the vast dark sky. But in the autumn of 2010, something strange stirred in the countryside, and for a time the people of Steytlerville whispered nervously about a creature that didn't belong, something that walked like a man but wasn't one. I am Michelle,
And I am Isaiah.
and this is Shifting Veils, where we talk about the unexplained, possibly paranormal, and always strange.
In this week's episode, we are going to discuss unsettling encounters with the Steytlerville monster and the Noppera-bo.
Noppera-bo?
Noppera-bo. And if you like that sort of thing, maybe give us a like, share, and follow. And don't forget, if you have your own spooky story, send us an email. We may feature your story in a future episode.
Noppera-bo. It's such a weird name, but it's kind of fun. It began with a man named Johann, a local farmer known for his quiet demeanor and weather-worn face. One night in April, he was driving his pickup truck home along the gravel road leading into town. The moon was thin, and the headlights of his truck cut sharp tunnels through the brush. As he turned near an old, dried-up waterhole, he saw something. Tall, too tall, pale and fast. At first he thought it was a man in a trench coat running across the road, but as it crossed in front of him, he slammed the brakes. The figure didn't turn its head, didn't flinch. It passed silently into the darkness. When he got home, Johann didn't call the police. He didn't even tell his wife until days later. It was like my brain couldn't fit what I'd seen, he later told a journalist. I wasn't scared at first, just confused. But soon he realized he hadn't been the only one.
In the weeks that followed, more sightings were reported. A teenage couple parked on a hillside claimed a shape-shifting creature ran past their car, changing from a man into a baboon mid-stride. Just saw the red ass running by. A school teacher swore she saw a figure in her garden at 3 a.m., one that appeared human until it bent backward on two long limbs and leapt the fence like a springbok.
No, that's weird. I
It's
don't like that image.
It's a grasshopper.
It's something weird.
By May, the town was buzzing with Town of the Steytlerville Monster, a name that sounded too colorful for something so frightening. Locals described it as over 7 feet tall with pale skin or sometimes covered in matted brown hair. I almost said fur. Sorry.
Well, it makes sense. If he's a baboon.
Wearing clothes, usually a trench coat, sometimes pants, sometimes not at all.
What if it's a baboon in a trench coat?
They also call him the streak.
Yeah. No
a baboon that's streaking. Walking on two legs, but sometimes drop into all fours. Capable of changing shape in front of people's eyes, human to animal, or even vanishing mid-run.
Sounds creepy. What made it worse, the thing seemed to know where people were watching from. It would appear just long enough to be seen, then slip away before it could be caught. So is it into voyeurism? Is that voyeurism? Wanted to be seen.
Wanting to watch.
Okay, well, what is it then?
I can't think of the word. It's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't think of it.
But there's a word.
Yeah, there is a word. There's a word for everything. To me, it sounds like it's just a baboon all together in a trench coat, like you said.
Could be, but no pants.
So?
There were no confirmed attacks, no blood, no bodies. But some people said they were never the same after seeing it. Well, I mean, I would say so. I mean, I don't think I'd be the same if I ever saw a baboon in a trench coat and no pants.
I think I'd pretty much be the same. I'd just have a little more experience.
I Okay. One woman reportedly went missing for nearly 48 hours after claiming the creature had followed her along a ridge trail. She was found wandering outside town barefoot and dazed, with no memory of where she'd been. Her hands were scratched and her voice hoarse from screaming, though she couldn't recall why.
Okay, well, that changes things up. I don't think I'd be the same either.
That that's wild. Okay. A retired soldier claimed he fired a shot at the creature from his porch, point blank, with a hunting rifle, but the thing didn't fall. It looked at me, he said, not like an animal, like something that had always been there, watching.
Like the Enfield.
Mmm. Yep.
Hmm.
Okay, now my mind is wandering. More subtly, many many began reporting a sense of dread or being watched in the night. I think they're just paranoid now.
Yeah.
Pets vanished, footprints, sometimes human, sometimes resembling those of a baboon, were found near chicken coops and doorways. One police officer went on record saying, "We're not saying it's a monster, but we're also not saying it isn't." Um,
Uh,
the creature's reputation grew into something more than just a cryptid. Locals whispered old Kosa legends of beings that could shift form, shape-shifting witches or cursed humans. Elders in nearby rural communities suggested it might be a Tokolosh conjured up through dark means or a man cursed for betrayal, doomed to roam the night as a beast.
as a baboon.
It's a deformed baboon that got a hold of somebody's
Mm.
trench coat.
And sometimes pants.
Yeah, sometimes, only sometimes. He's very peculiar about his fashion.
It's only when he's feeling like he needs his pinky out,
Right?
when he's feeling fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Some some said they recognized the face when it appeared human. A man long dead, perhaps a murder victim or a relative of one of the townsfolk. When local and international journalists caught wind of the story, they descended on Steytlerville for a week. Articles ran in South African papers and cryptid websites. Headlines spoke of the Phantom and Steytlerville's shapeshifter. But as quickly as they arrived, the reporters left. Nothing concrete was caught on camera, no evidence was collected. And then, like smoke on the wind, the sightings stopped. By late June, the creature was gone. Today, the Steytlerville monster is a half joke, half warning. Teenagers dare each other to walk the old farm roads alone. Older folks shake their heads and say they still see it sometimes. Out near the Thornveld, just beyond the fence line, watching. There were no deaths, no captured beast, no explanations, only stories. Some say it was a hoax, others say it was a mass hysteria. But in Steytlerville, under the blistering sun and dry wind, people remember. They remember the thing that walked like a man and wasn't, the one that ran too fast, turned into something else, and never made a sound. And they remember the silence it left behind.
So I do think that at least one person saw something, maybe two. But I think that I really feel like there is a lot of talking and gossiping and some hysteria. You
I, I,
know,
yeah, I think there was like you said, one or two people that saw something, and there was a lot of other people that wanted to see something.
hmm yeah, because I mean, say it's an animal. Unless the animal is skilled, animals don't just like pick up and go.
That baboon found a job somewhere else.
Now, let's stick with the baboon for a minute. If it was a baboon and it was deformed in some way, it could have been killed. You know, it would be an easy target
Hmm.
for a predator, you know. So that, you know, that's something. But I mean, that's a really malformed baboon.
I mean,
Johann said it was really tall, you know?
uh-huh.
So yeah, that's just, so I don't know about that,
A
about it being a
gorilla
baboon.
baboon.
A gorilla baboon. Yeah.
No, like a lot of the things did sound kind of like it was, was a baboon in a trench coat, so in a lot of senses. But except for the part where it bent backwards and leapt over a fence. That's the only thing that kind of said not a baboon to me. But
Yeah, I'm just gonna think that that's like bullshit.
this is another Enfield sort of situation to me. It feels like where
It
there
kind
are
of feels that
stories,
way.
not really any hard evidence. Now nobody got any hard evidence, and yeah.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way for sure. Okay, well, we have another one for you. The road to Okigahara. I'm going to mispronounce some stuff. Um, Okigahara Forest winds like a ribbon of regret beneath Mount Fuji. Tourists come here for the beauty, others for darker reasons. But few know that sometimes the forest sends something back. In the spring of 2003, Daniel Morgan, a backpacker from the UK, arrived in Japan for a solo hiking tour. A seasoned traveler and nature photographer, he was drawn to the quiet majesty of the forest, but by the time he left, he would never again hike alone. Daniel arrived at the forest entrance with his gear, a map, and a quiet sense of excitement. Despite its grim reputation, Oki
Aokigahara.
Okigahara. I'm sorry. Despite its grim reputation, Okigahara, is that how you say it? Okigahara?
I see it as Aokigahara, but
I'm not doing
um,
that fancy stuff. So it's Okigahara.
this is the suicide forest, right?
Yes, I believe it is.
You could call it the suicide forest if you'd like. I think that's kind of what it's renowned for.
Okay. Well, despite its grim reputation, it's peaceful. Thick moss muffled his footsteps, birdsong echoed faintly above the dense canopy. After an hour of walking, he saw a man ahead on the path. The man wore a great suit, strangely formal for a forest trail. Daniel called out in English, and then in the little Japanese he knew. The man stopped and turned. His posture was human, so was his clothing, but his face, it was blank. No eyes, no nose, no mouth, just smooth, pale skin like wet paper stretched over bone. Daniel stumbled backward. The figure didn't move at first, then it took a single step forward. Daniel ran. That night Daniel camped far off of the trail. He convinced himself it had been a trick of the light, a mask maybe, but he couldn't explain the way the air had gone still and heavy, as if the trees themselves had been holding their breath. The next morning, things grew stranger.
He saw a woman in a kimono standing by a creek. She looked lost, disorientated. Relieved to see another person, Daniel approached and asked if she was okay. She smiled gently. Then, as he watched, her features melted away like wax under a flame. In seconds, she had no face at all. He backed away slowly, whispering to himself. The woman tilted her head, curious, not aggressive, before turning and walking into the mist. Daniel made it out of the forest the next day. Pale and shaken, he told his story online, in forums, and dedicated to cryptids and folklore. Most dismissed it, others recognized the pattern. He had seen a Noppera-bo, a creature of Japanese legend that appears as an ordinary person until it turns its smooth, featureless face towards you. These beings are known to impersonate loved ones, only to reveal their facelessness at the last moment, lure travelers, especially those alone or emotionally vulnerable. They are physically real, not illusions or ghosts, but solid walking beings. They are nonviolent, but disturbing enough to leave a lasting psychological scar. Some believe they are a type of yokai, or supernatural creature native to Japanese myth. Others think they are shapeshifters, ancient and alien, feeding not on flesh but on fear. Reports of them stretch back centuries and continue into the modern day, especially in lonely places, forests, tunnels, abandoned shrines. Daniel never returned to Japan, though.
I wouldn't
He,
either.
He stopped
Hmm.
backpacking entirely.
Mm,
In
I
interviews, he
bet.
swore it wasn't just folklore. Yeah. I wasn't drunk. I wasn't sleep deprived. They were there. And the worst part, he said in one post, they weren't trying to scare me. They just wanted me to see.
Yeah, why? That is why.
Uh yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an answer for that either. If you find yourself in the forests of Japan, especially alone, keep your eyes open. And if you meet a friendly stranger on the trail, be polite. But if they smile too long, if the air goes still, and if their face begins to ripple and slide, don't run.
I'm running.
They'll still be waiting wherever you stop.
No, don't say stuff like that.
They will find you.
No.
You just need to be alone.
I'm not going to Japan. I don't think we have those here.
Obviously not. You don't fly in planes.
No. From the dry plains of South Africa to the mist-laced forests of Japan, the tales of the Steytlerville monster and the Noppera-boa boa bow
Boa.
no Noppera-bo. I am so sorry, guys. I am horrible with pronunciation. They remind us of something ancient and chilling. Not all monsters hide in shadows. Some wear our faces. That's horrible. I don't like that.
One of them is famous for it. There's a leather face out there.
Okay. In Steytlerville, it was a figure too tall, too fast, too silent, seen only in glimpses, always one step ahead, always just beyond understanding. In Japan, it was a Noppera-bo, calm, familiar figures that, with one eerie turn, revealed a face that wasn't there at all. Both legends speak to something deeper than physical danger. They speak to fear of recognition turned wrong, of a world that looks normal until it suddenly isn't. They unsettle, not through violence, but through imitation, reminding us that trust in appearances is a fragile thing. That's, yeah, that stuff like that is like really creepy to me.
That sounds like you just described a catfisher.
A catfisher. It makes me think of doppelgangers also. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so so whether it's a faceless stranger in the fog or a familiar figure walking too quietly across the road, look twice and remember the scariest monsters aren't always hiding. Sometimes they're human, or at least pretending to be.